Happy Monday, everybody.
Happy Monday.
Hey, hey, hey. Hopefully, everyone's having a great day. All right. Let a few more folks come on in. Who here is their first time here? Welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
All right. Let a few more folks in, and we'll kick things off. All right. So, for the folks that are brand new here, let's just go through all the boring stuff. We can start having some fun. So let me share my screen. Welcome to the NEPQ Pro Tonality Coaching Call, just to make sure everyone is in the right place. All right. And for the folks that are new here, that are like, who's this guy in the blue hat with the glasses speaking to me? My name is Rode. I'm the tonality coach here, and you'll see Danica coming in and out. She's one of the accountability coaches, making sure that we're all here set up for success. So, bit of housekeeping. We ask that if you're able to, and you're somewhere safe, and it doesn't put you in any hazard, we ask that you please, please, please turn your camera on. This is a safe place. We want you to participate and actually uh, make use of the time you guys set aside to be here. Right now, if you're not able to be on camera, we totally understand. We ask that to maintain the quality of today's session. Please, if you're in a noisy background, please mute yourself, so we can make sure that we can hear everybody loud and clear. And this is like literally about tonality and body language. So we ask that if you're able to, please, please, please keep your questions to tonality and body language. If you need help with objection handling or structure or scripting, this may not be the appropriate session for you. However, we do have classes on exactly those things. Reach out to Alberto or Danica or Jordan, and they'll make sure they point you in the right direction. Now, very, very important. This is what we call our success puzzle. Um, one side of the puzzle is what you're doing right now, the live coaching sessions, which are very, very important. However, we don't want to discount the other side of the puzzle, which is the training, the things that you do when you're not on the coaching sessions, i.e., going through the actual training portal. They go hand in hand. The clients that we see have the biggest uplift in their sales, and as a byproduct, their commissions are the people that marry the two. If you only do one, you're leaving a lot of potential on the table and a lot of possible money on the table. Are you guys picking up what I'm putting down? All right.
Yes, sir.
Sweet, sweet, sweet. With that being said, you might see Jeremiah and Kenneth and Kobe all have their hands up. If you're new here, you're probably asking yourself why. Very simple answer. That allows us to keep a running tally out of who has a question around tonality and body language and who wants to role play. All that we ask is that if you have your hand up and we call on you, simply let us know how long you've been inside NEPQ so we have context, and what do you sell so that we can all be on the same page. With that being said, Jeremiah, I saw your hand up first. Come on
Okie
down.
dokie. Just looking to do a role play. And I've been in the 7th level for 2.5, 3 months, and I sell life insurance.
Sweet, sweet. And what are we role playing? Like, which section are we
Yeah, I'm
tapping
gonna
into
do
that?
problem awareness again this week.
Okay, sweet. Who here wants to be the prospect for Jeremiah? Okay, Kenneth, come on down.
Okay. All right, I'm just going to start with my kind of my last situation question, and then I will get into my problem awareness. And do you go by Ken or Kenneth?
Either one.
Okay.
Whatever rolls
Sweet.
off.
Now,
Alright.
very important for the people that are here listening. Uh, like, don't just like listen as if we're watching Jeremiah go. Listen as if you're also the prospect. Like, what would you feel in your mind if Jeremiah was communicating to you? Right? What does he trigger, if anything? Do you stay neutral? Does he trigger fight or flight? Um, just so you can start to realize what are some of the things that you may be doing positively or negatively in your own conversations. Make sense, guys and gals? All right. Jeremiah, the
All
floor is
right.
yours.
Okay. If you could play like maybe like a 55-year-old prospect, would be perfect.
Sir.
And so, Ken, with like with your kids, grown and gone, and you and your wife being empty nesters now, I guess walk me through like what type of protection you might already have in place that would kick in.
Yeah, I have a little bit. I have like a 401k that
Hmm.
I can probably pull from. A little bit of saved up with my wife.
Uh-huh.
Um, yeah, those are about it.
All right. Well,
Mm.
I guess maybe like with the 401k and kind of like the emergency savings, like what makes you feel, guess what makes you feel like that isn't enough?
Yeah, I guess ideally I don't want to use my 401k for my burial and funeral costs.
Hmm.
I kind of want to leave that behind to the kids or, you know. So I
Hmm.
kind of want to put something in place that would just cover that specifically.
Right. So, and I just want to jump backwards a little bit for like your funeral and final expenses. That's kind of what you're wanting this to be for.
Yes, sir.
Hmm. Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. We hear that crap. Can't say
Wait,
that.
wait, pause. Right there. Like, can anybody tell me why Jeremiah just stopped? Jeremiah, not you, but anybody that was listening, can anybody tell me what caused Jeremiah to stop? Just there.
I got it.
Okay. Go ahead,
Um,
Brian.
well, if you preface anything with, just to be honest, or let me be honest with you, it's a trigger or signal to the prospect that you are not going to be honest.
Spot
Or have you not been honest with me up to now?
exactly.
Mm.
So Jeremiah had the wherewithal to stop himself right there, because it doesn't matter how appropriate your tone is. If you do that, then you run the risk of putting the seed in the prospect's mind that, well, I'm going to be honest with you now, right? Or just being honest. To Brian's point, Brian's spot on. Then what does that what does that put you at risk of having the prospect think you have been up to this point dishonest? Because why do you need a disclaimer now to be honest?
Yeah.
So those are one of the like phrases that we recommend, just work out of your sales structure, right? Because it does you no favor, and it's something that, a lot of salespeople say that will actually run the risk of putting in their mind that, oh, this guy is like everyone else. So great job at catching yourself, Jeremiah. So let's pick up right there,
Okay.
all right, and jump right back in it.
All right. So you just kind of told me you wanted to use the 401k for to give to your kids, and then you're looking for final expense. Yeah, Ken, we hear that a lot. I mean, your wife and your family are lucky to have someone like you that's thinking about them and wanting to protect them for when you're gone. I mean, we talk to a lot of people, and some people kind of just want to hope and pray that like nothing's ever gonna happen, and I don't mind like just risking it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, kind of hear that in your voice since we've been talking. I mean, I
Pause.
guess what's
What was?
somebody say pause?
Yeah, 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 yeah. I did. Uh, I noticed what just happened? Um, uh, After you asked Kenneth, do you know what I mean? Did did anybody catch that? Not a trick question. Like yeah, no, yeah. And not so much like the because I know we just corrected well Jeremiah called himself and self-corrected with the just being honest. We're not touching too much structure. Uh this is more tone. And what I'll do is I'll actually bring up my notes because I
Yeah.
was taking notes
Because
as
I
we went.
can't real this doesn't land that well for me. So
And
that's normally the answer that I get. So that's what I'm looking for help on actually in
yeah,
particular.
and that's why I paused it is because it felt that way, right?
Okay.
And when I put so I'll go through the notes of what you did well. Let me unbold this so I'm confusing myself. Okay, excuse me. So what I put
I
down,
mean,
what
I'm
you did,
actually almost thinking about like dropping that like frame altogether
I'll
because
get there.
but I don't
Yeah,
really know where to go, like because he wasn't really giving me what I wanted, and that's kind of where I go if I don't. So go ahead. Sorry to interrupt.
nah, not a problem at all. Like what I put down, what you did well was good hums and ahas in the very beginning because the verbal pacing, you signaled to Kenneth what you wanted him to speed up and slow down and to speak and to listen. So for anybody that's new here, what Jeremiah was doing early on was the verbal cues. And when we mean by verbal cues, I'm gonna post them in the chat just so you guys see. Let me copy and I'll paste. So verbal cues are little phrases or words you can say, like every 8 to 10 or 12 words that allow the other person to know that you're an active participant in the conversation. So it also allows you to not be steamrolled because you're not just waiting for them to talk and then once they finish, now you can talk. These allow you to tactfully interject every 8 to 12 words. Uh-huh. Yeah. And what Jeremiah was doing there that was so good in the beginning was you were setting the verbal pace of the conversation because Kenneth would go and Kenneth would say something and every like 7 to 8 words it was a now you're not saying like I understand or it was very very well done. It was like uh-huh. So it lets him know that you're acknowledging that you're taking in the information. So we want to give a lot of social cues, i.e., verbal cues, that we're listening, right? So well done. But what it also does is the brevity of it, the way you were doing it, made him, in my opinion, made it so that he also doesn't become long with it because it's like a uh-huh, uh-huh. Now, I would I what I also why I wanted to highlight that because a lot of times when I see people, and you would only need to use maybe 2 or 3 max verbal cue variations throughout a conversation, and you'll be perfectly fine. Right? What I see a lot of people do when they use the uh-huh or the mm-hmm, what ends up happening is you're doing it too frequently after too many words or at too many short of words. So now it may come off like you're hurrying the person. Like, get to it. Uh-huh, yeah. Uh-huh. And now you may trigger them to feel like you're being a little, impatient. So well done there, Jeremiah, because it was the appropriate like pace. Now, the reason why I paused it during that last interaction was because something felt off and awkward, where you triggered after you went through that frame. There was like a 2.5 second pause where you asked him if, do you know what I mean? And there was no dialogue back and forth, which normally, okay, it's not a problem if it's planned, but it almost felt like you were waiting for him to say something. And Kenneth like reaction was like, yeah. And then you went into the spiel. Now, why I think that was triggered is because that frame, without touching structure too much, that frame felt like you were rushing through it. Because if you watch back this recording, your your verbal pace started speeding up as if
Okay.
you just wanted to get it out. And then it was like it was like just like a thud because it's a lot of information coming at someone, right?
Okay.
And if you listen to like how they respond, you can also get like a sense of whether or not it landed.
Yeah. Well, I know
Like,
well, it doesn't land if they don't get, they're what they're really supposed to do is like argue against, oh no, I would never do that, or I don't want to be that person. And if I don't get that answer, then I know it has not landed. And there's now more people have their hand up, so I don't want to take up too much time. But if before I was like, well, I'll just ask another question. Now I see there's more, but one final thing, and then I'll practice again for next week. Like I run into two things with that identity frame.
yeah.
One, like if I pace it slower than that, and Caden wants me to do the first part a little bit faster and then slow down the last part, right? Where
Mhm.
I'm saying that final part.
Yeah.
But if I'm pacing it faster, it doesn't land. And when
Yeah.
I pace it slower, they verbal cue me and interrupt me. So I
Mhm.
can't like find that happy medium for some reason. And I don't know if you caught anything because I did the same one last week and you didn't really interrupt me and say that there was anything wrong with the
No,
pacing. But so
no.
I'm just wondering if you noticed any or any
Yeah.
recommendations on that.
That like last week, because I remember the feedback we gave it was strong, right? It was just pepper and a little bit more verbal cues, but it was strong.
Yes.
This week, it felt as if you were trying to speed through it. And for everyone to hear, one of the reasons why we discourage people from speeding through like everything is because w- if somebody's speaking very, 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 very fast at you, right? What, and especially in a sales capacity, what typically or usually runs through like your mind as if what they're trying to do?
Just hurry up and like get it over with, get the sale, and just
Exactly. Right. So it's like s- have you guys ever heard the phrase slick talking salesman?
mhm.
All right. So if you're too smooth or too fast, or then you run the risk of putting yourself in that same box. So if you're gonna do the frame, right, uh, it's gonna require you like if Kate is telling you, and Kate is for everyone who is selling any type of protection or insurance here, Kate is a rock star, right? So his feedback, I'm sure he's telling you for a reason. Now, the frame itself, if if it's a longer frame, think about it like this. Think about it like you're in a movie, right? We have to take them on like a mini movie of like a roller coaster. Because if a movie is just one thing throughout the whole movie, it's a little boring. And people basically zone out. And that's
Okay.
what we don't want to happen in the conversation here. So that's my sneaky suspicion as to why Kate is saying started it off one way and ended off another. So there's some contrast there.
Okay.
But um, do you have that? Like, what I'd recommend is pick one pick one part of the frame, right? Um, and just look at it and look at like write down where you're going to pause at and then when you're going to speed up at. Because if you're
Okay.
starting off fast, that's fine, but then it needs to be like Kate suggesting a gradual slowdown. But we have to be very intentional because now we need them to trigger in their mind that okay, I need to pay attention because it seems like Jeremiah is searching for the words rather than it feels like a bit.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yep. Got it. Thank you. Appreciate
You're
the extra
welcome.
time.
Appreciate you. Kenneth, you're Yesy next, so
Yes, sir.
don't go anywhere. Let the folks know how long you've been here and what do you sell.
So I've been in NEPQ for about a month, a little over a month now.
All right.
I'm also in life insurance.
Uh,
So yes, sir.
Sweet. And what are we working on today when it comes to tonality?
Connecting and situation questions.
All right. And like, I don't want to assume anything, so
Mm,
you let me know if I'm off here.
mm.
Uh, are you getting your prospects like they filled out a form online and you're doing an outbound, or they book a specific time with you?
So I'm fairly new, and so I'm
Mm,
calling out like 3-month-old leads,
okay.
and so they've been dialed so many times, and so that's what
Okay.
I'm doing. Yes, sir.
All right. So you know what? Jeremiah, do you mind returning the favor and being the prospect?
Not a problem at all. I'd be happy to do it.
All
Cool.
right.
Um, hey, Jeremiah.
Yeah, this is. Who's this?
It's just Kenneth. I just had a second to get back to you. I'm licensed with the state. I read the request you put in about possibly looking at final expense and life options. Did you find what you were looking for, or are you still looking?
Man, that was a while ago.
Yeah.
And I think my wife might have like put that in or something.
Mhm. Do you know if she find what she was looking for you or for both of y'all?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we put something in place.
Mhm.
But I mean, yeah, I think we have something in place.
Okay, yeah, that's odd. You probably got like a lot of phone calls. Your file is just still open here, so
Hmm.
I could
Yeah, I do get a few.
I could probably possibly get that updated for you and maybe stop all the phone calls if that would help.
Yeah, yeah, that
Which,
that would that would be great.
all right, which one of the carriers did you go with so I get that updated here for you?
I feel like it was, I don't know, like American something, like American Amicable or something like that.
Hmm. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I know about them. Do you know what made y'all want go with them instead of another option?
Um, I don't know. The gal said that was going to be the best for us.
God, and I guess if you could change anything about it, would you change anything at all?
Um, I don't know. I think we were looking for like more coverage, but
More?
that's what we ended up with.
It sounds like you feel like what y'all have now is not enough.
No, yeah, I think we would like some additional coverage if possible. I just don't know if it is, I guess.
Okay. And do you have like any savings or stocks like now? I guess God forbid if something were to happen to you, like would your wife
No,
be the one paying
just
off?
got uh just got that policy. That's all we got.
Okay. And this call is pretty basic. I work with over 40 different of the top carriers in the state. Um, so then at that point, I would just start going into my presentation and start letting them know. Uh,
Yeah.
that was
Like
good, honestly. Like I wasn't expecting you to just. You made me kind of go like on a objection handling a little bit of this.
I don't know. I just that's what those calls go like.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
you get into them, right? Sometimes you just get hung up on, but like if you get somebody going, that's kind of generally the way it goes. So hopefully that was helpful.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
yeah. Thanks, Jeremiah. Yeah, Kenneth, like what I had down was what you did well. Hold on, let me unbold this because it throws me off trying to read it. There we go. So I put what you did well when you said that's odd. We still
Mhm.
have your files open on our side. I can go and get that updated for you. That was a very good confused tone. Like
Okay.
it came off like natural. Like you
Mhm.
were generally confused. Oh, that's odd, right? So that I feel like that was where it felt like the most natural to me. You kind of let the NPQ guard down, and
Mhm.
like I can start here, Kenneth. What I put down in terms of areas of improvement,
Mhm.
it seemed to be a bit of over pausing at times. There
Okay.
seemed to be like a start and stop component there
Mhm.
where it at it ran the risk of sounding like maybe you're talking like this, and that may trigger somebody to be a little confused and apprehensive.
Yeah.
All right. So what I'd recommend is on your sales structure, write down exactly where you want to pause at,
Okay.
so that you don't run the risk of, because I see it happen to like so many of us. We'll just, once we start pausing, we'll start to over pause unintentionally, but it now comes across a little weird.
Hmm.
Uh, so be very mindful of that.
Okay.
All right. But like for a month in, uh, I can tell you you're going through the training. There's just, let's see what happens without the over pausing.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks, Jeremiah. Thanks, Kenneth.
Thanks, Jeremiah.
I got Kobe. Come on down. Hey, Kobe, good to see you.
It's good, boss.
Yeah, nothing much. Staying out of trouble.
All right.
For the folks that don't know the legendary Laker, let them know how long you've been here and what do you sell, so they have context.
Yeah, so I've been here NPQ for probably 3 months now, going on 3 months, man. Um, and I do wholesale and real estate.
Sweet to the beat. And what are we tackling today when it comes to tonality and body language?
Yeah, so I feel like my tonality is getting he's a Warriors fan though. How does he, how does he know that? That's weird. Okay, so as far as tonality, basically I feel like my tonality is feeling like more natural, in my opinion, but I don't know how it's coming up to the prospect. Like I feel more natural, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, I feel like I'm crushing it in sales, but I don't know how the prospect feels.
Right, right. That's exactly how I feel. So I don't know. I just want to know like basically how I'm making them feel. Um
Okay,
and go
okay,
from there.
sweet. And where we starting from?
Let's just start from the top. Best place to
All,
start.
all right. So, for the folks that don't know, give them context. Is it so when you're getting your, like, are you calling them outbound? They filled out some form online. You're calling them to see, okay, what like how the property is and what they're looking to do, so you can like kind of do that, or how do you get your prospects now?
Right. So it's outbound. They talked to like a cold caller. And just basically said they're possibly interested in like receiving an offer. Or like they're interested in receiving an offer. Yeah.
Okay, sweet. Who here wants to get a offer from? Oh, Scott, was that you? All right, Celtics and Warriors. Let's go.
Yeah, I'll play along. Yeah.
Celtics and
So
Warriors.
who am
Okay.
I again? I'm
Yeah, so you are either a you're either a homeowner where like
okay.
you're staying in this property or a landlord or you just have a property that's vacant. You can be either one of those avatars.
I'll be the homeowner if that's okay with you.
Perfectly fine with me, man.
I am one, so
Okay. So yeah. Ring ring.
hello,
Hey, Scott there.
speaking.
Hey Scott, it's just Jacoby here. What's going on, man?
Uh just uh just unwinding. What can I do for you, Kobe?
Nothing too much. It looks like you had recently spoke with my colleague Sarah. And she had just let me know that you were possibly
Hmm.
looking at receiving an offer for your property there at 123 Main Street. Is that right?
I was kicking the tires a little bit on the idea. Yeah. Yeah.
What does that mean?
Well, I'm generally curious what I can get. I'm at
Okay.
a point in my life where, you know, the cash I could get could give me some options.
Okay.
So so yeah, I mean it's a situation where I mean I don't have to do anything,
Right.
but there's a curious part of me that says, what's, I can bet, if I can get 600,000 in the bag and play around
Yeah.
with that a little bit. I don't need a big house necessarily. I can downsize and travel a little more.
Right.
Wait
That's
right
kind of
there.
my
Pause. What just happened? Because let me take a step back. Kobe started off very, very, very strong, right? As far as uh coming off curious, right? And just natural. The only thing I would recommend you stay away from, Kobe, and I know this isn't like a structure, is how are you doing? Just like Jeremy talks
I
about,
said that.
because yeah,
I didn't try to say that.
yeah, I'm pretty sure you did.
Oh no, I thought I said I said what's going on. I do
Oh
kind
yeah,
of
yeah, yeah. Like yeah, apologies, like that too. Like what's going on?
yeah. I
But you're
heard
right.
Joe say that, so I was like, oh okay,
Yeah. Now remember, Joe. All right, this isn't the cold call.
right,
Remember, Joe is doing a cold call, so Joe needs to disarm as much as possible. This is somebody who's already spoken to a cold caller.
right.
All right, so for you, if you, the reason why I test on that is because if you watch back this recording, I
Hmm.
want you to watch Scott's body language when you asked him what's going on. Even Scott's tone, it was like nothing. I'm just, and it was, it was, it was as if like Scott didn't know what to say next, right? Where it's just like what, basically by asking that to a complete stranger, right?
Right.
You run the risk of putting them into like fight or flight mode where it's like, why are you asking me what's going on?
Mm.
Right? Because they don't know you. Right.
Right.
Now, on the flip side, imagine this.
Hmm.
I want everybody to just think about this. Imagine somebody comes to your door, rings your doorbell, right? And they could have a UPS uniform on, a FedEx uniform on. They could even have a police uniform on, right? Like, meaning you know exactly who they work for. Now, imagine if the first thing they say is, hey, Kobe." You're like, "Hey, what's going on? What pops up in your mind?"
What do you mean? What's going on? Nothing's going on. That's what I. That's just first thing I would say.
But like situational awareness, what you have now more than likely put them on high alert. It's like going
Right.
on with what, and now you
Right.
have to basically do a lot of work to disarm them,
Mm.
right? Because now you unintentionally triggered them because they're like, "What do you mean? What's going on?" Right?
Hmm.
Where like for you, what you sell, you already have the benefit of by the time they get to you, they've spoken to somebody,
Right.
right? So okay, so you can go right into your connecting.
Okay.
However, that's not why I stopped it. Did
Mm.
anybody can anybody tell me in just those quick like 2 minute conversations what just happened between Scott and Kobe?
I waxed poetic. I meandered. I just,
Mm-hmm.
you know what? I'm just like that old middle-aged guy like I am who just starts talking and doesn't know where he's
Uh-huh.
going with the conversation.
Uh-huh. And why that's so dangerous, Kobe, is because you were verbal cueing appropriately. So Scott would stop his phrase, right? And it was like 8 to whatever words, and you would, uh-huh, okay. But then what ends up happening is we're not bridging the next question fast enough. So
Yeah.
what Scott was able to do was he's able to say something that has the potential to negatively impact the conversation. What I mean by that is you did a great job of verbal cueing, giving him space to answer, right? But I want everyone to think about this. The minute you get what you need as far as information, like it is time to move on to the next conversation because if we don't, I mean, between to like the next question, because what ends up happening if we don't, exactly what has happened to you, Kobe, is what happened to everyone. Scott essentially just can anybody tell me what objection he just hammered you with by allowing him too much time to speak because you didn't transition fast enough?
I don't know.
Hey, yeah,
think about.
like
Yeah.
Renee's spot on because if you watch back this recording, so I implore people not just to attend these trainings, but then watch the recordings back in real time to see if you catch it, like before you see me say it. Because what you'll notice is Scott went on a whole soliloquy, all right? You verbal cued, and then you allowed him more time to speak, and then he uttered the words, yeah, I don't really need to do anything, you know? Like
Mm.
when initially Scott had said something that was a little off, you had the appropriate tone and simply asked him, what did he mean by that? So you can understand more information, right? And
Right.
you took back control of the conversation.
I
And
wasn't
then,
even trying to be a hard out there. That's actually how I answer like questions when I no.
yeah,
And so this is really good for me to hear too, because
yeah,
I need to learn this from the salesperson's end of controlling that without like I'm afraid to interrupt and I want to listen and then I let them carry on.
yeah, exactly. And I encourage folks not to interrupt, right? Because it may come off as rude. We prefer to label as interjecting, like verbally interjecting, because what Scott just did by like having too much time to meander just put a whole bunch of objections right there in your plate, right? So like now you're on the back foot because he's like, I don't need to do anything,
Hmm.
right? And how do you how do you come back from that? All right.
What I normally do,
Yeah.
I would just normally say, yeah, I never said that you needed to do anything. I guess what are you possibly looking for if anything? I would kind of just try to like neutralize it and kind of
Yeah.
just tell them like, oh, I never said that you were looking for anything.
I'll go with Scott real fast, right? And um Kobe, give me your first connecting question again.
Uh, uh, no, no. So how I kind of do it is
Hmm.
um you can do it either two ways. You can say, so yeah, like it looks like you had recently spoken with my colleague about possibly receiving an offer for XYZ, right? Right. Okay, now do you know what you might be like looking for or something like that? Like, do you know what you might be looking for? And then they'll say,
Perfect.
like
Got it.
what? And then
No,
like,
no, no. Oh no, no, yeah, that's all I needed. Perfect. All right. So
You want me
ring
to
ring.
answer? Oh,
No, 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 no. I'm gonna role play with you real
this
fast.
is Scott. Hello.
Yeah. Hey, Scott, it's just Road from XYZ. It looks like you recently spoke with my colleague about possibly receiving an offer for your home at 555 Willow Lane. Is that
Hmm.
correct?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, and I'm just curious, what was it that you two maybe discussed that made you want to, I guess, look into this further?
I've been thinking about
Uh-huh.
selling the house. I sometimes get these
Okay.
flyers in my
Yeah.
mailbox about someone interested in buying my property and
Yeah.
like
Now,
the
when you
idea
say
that
you've been
cash.
interested, how long have you been thinking about actually selling the property though?
It's been maybe about a little more than a
Uh,
month now.
okay, more than a month. And have you received any offers? I know you said you got flyers, but have you actually
I haven't been
received any
actively
offers?
selling it. I've just been pondering it. And really, I'm not so much
Oh,
interested like going through
yeah,
the whole
yeah,
staging and selling the house
yeah,
and all that bullcrap.
yeah.
I just
Oh, no, no.
like one of you guys would be perfect. Just
Well,
give me the
maybe,
cash. Give me my bag.
maybe, yeah, maybe. Now, walk me back though, because a moment ago you just mentioned that you haven't been actively looking to sell it. Just curious, what has you looking at really kind of getting that cash now as opposed to a month ago?
Well, I
Uh-huh.
am on my own now,
Okay.
and I have the flexibility to
Mm-hmm.
move. I
Mm-hmm.
don't I have more space
Mhm.
than I necessarily need.
Okay, and that makes sense, right? And yeah, the whole purpose of this call is really just kind of understand kind of like what kind of condition the property is in and kind of what you would like to see in terms of an offer. Um, just to make sure that we can make you an offer that you actually want, all right? Now maybe walk us through how many rooms do you currently have right now?
Hmm.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
Yeah.
10 rooms,
10 rooms. Okay. And how many bathrooms?
two.
Okay, I'm gonna stop there. Right. Now, what were you not able to do there?
Because I mean, it was beautiful because you led the conversation, you stopped me from going too far, yet I felt like you were on the surfboard with me, right? It wasn't like you were rude or interrupting or pushy or anything like that. It's like rewire my brain, and that's what I want to do. It's beautiful.
Yeah, appreciate it. Now, the reason why I wanted to like just stop and go is because there are certain there are certain times where Scott had the you can start to hear him rev up to be able to go, right? But the verbal cues that I posted inside that actual chat that allowed me to be an active participant. Right. And this is what I mean by I don't want to interrupt. However, I'm putting the focus on them, but I need to, every 8 to 12 words, let Scott know that I'm an active participant, but not coming off where my tone is super aggressive or super mellow. I'm neutral
Yeah.
until I need to basically like choose one of the four C's: curious, confused, concerned, or challenging slash skeptical. Right? Because I need to understand what you mean. But like the speed as to when I'm going from question to question, that needs to be a certain pace. Otherwise, what ends up happening is Scott then can go on and he can undo things very quickly. Does that make sense, guys and gals, as to what I'm like, why I'm saying this? Because very early on, if we don't set the tone, not with like our frames, but like with our actual pacing and our tones early on. So what we're doing is we're training the prospect. Okay, this is going to be the cadence of the call.
I
But
think what I
go
heard
ahead,
you
Scott.
say, yes, sorry, right? And I know this is Kobe's thing, but I'm getting a lot out of this. The I picked up something you said there before. I was like in the process of wrapping up a thought, and that's when you kind of slid in there and were able to
Spot on.
like not necessarily stop me from continuing, but like get more out of what I just said.
Spot on. Because I need to. Um, so uh, pacing in between question to question. So if you look at the verbal cues, right, that I posted in the chat, that allows you to transition, right? But if we wait for the prospect to finish talking after every like question and then we ask our question, that becomes a very dangerous game. And essentially what ends up happening is you have to literally wait for the prospect to finish talking. So they may go on a tangent. Like, let's say, instead of answering the question succinctly, they may go on a tangent that leads into another tangent, and every answer might be 90 seconds, right? But if that happens once in a call, all right. But what's the likelihood of that happening? Only once in a call. Very low. So you end up adding, if you add up all those rambles or rants, now you've added 10 to 15 minutes to your conversations, right? And if you're somebody that has like calls that are booked on your calendar, or even if you're like doing outbound, like closing, now instead of you maybe having 6 or 7 or 8 hours to work on sales, really, if you look over the spans of the rambling, you really have 4 to 5 hours of sales calls because it's so much time spent allowing the people to just ramble, that you're adding half an hour or 45 minutes to your day, and you think you're having a productive call, but you're not. Not to mention, what if you have calls like back to back? So the word economy and being able to just get through your process so that you can get those calls down to 1 hour or even 45 minutes or even 30 minutes. So now you can take that same selling time and without you even like closing, raising your closing percentage, you've cut down your call time. So now you can take more sales opportunities.
Hey, bro. Can I ask a quick question just to follow up what you said? I think it's beautiful, and I think what you did was very like nuanced. And I'm curious between the balance of like, hey, actively listening to them, but also not interjecting. Because what you
That
did was like in the middle. So I'm
yeah.
like interested to kind of know about that.
So for me, and this is why the training goes hand in hand with the coaching, because the training allows us to like memorize this, right? And internalize this. So that for me, I don't really have to think too much of where I'm going next because like I can listen and I can just go with it. Um, a lot of times, and you'll hear Jeremy and Matt say this, a lot of times we're not listening. So like we say we are, but we're we're like thinking about what to say next to this person. So we miss what they're saying. So we can't go from question to question because we still trying to remember our script, remember our process, and where do we go next? Where it's like if you play, let's say, baseball or football or basketball, you work on these things so often. Like for the folks here that like watch basketball, you think about Steph Curry, right? People think that he's shooting these shots just out of nowhere, but what we don't see is like the hours that he spends like literally every day in the gym shooting like these crazy shots and footwork and the ball handling. This is the exact same thing where we have to train ourselves to really internalize this process so that that part of the conversation is done for. We don't need to, once we're inside the conversation, we don't need to really think anymore about the process because we know it back to front. Now, what we have to do is really listen so that when like Scott or the prospect says something, it's like, okay, it becomes second nature. I do this because of that. And it just, it becomes like a true process. I know that was very long-winded, but hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it makes perfect sense. I think it, like you said, it's like almost like learning the fundamentals of the sport of that. I'm not
Exactly.
gonna, hey, if I pick up a basketball for the first time, I'm not gonna be Steph Curry in 24 hours. I got to
Exactly.
develop the fundamentals and then work my way up to it. So,
Spot on. And for everyone here, you should have had this inside your portal because you all have access. But I'm gonna put in the chat for you guys to download the NEPQ framework. So that's a PDF. I recommend everyone download that because that allows you to really understand the actual NEPQ structure in totality. Very high level view, but that allows you to know where does my tone need to be for this section, right? Because this is well the four C's. For the folks that have been here, you know what this is. For the folks that are new here, this is this tells you exactly like which these are the tones we need to express, right? We need to present to the prospect. Like not all at the same time, but there are going to be sections and questions that require a curious tone, right? Um, that's going to usually be up in connecting, where neutral over curious. Situation is going to require a curious tone, right? Problem awareness, that's going to require more of a concern slash curious tone. solution awareness, we start to introduce a little bit of confusion. For the cold callers, you're going to start with confusion. But for majority of the people who aren't cold calling, now we're a little bit more confused as to why have they allowed this to go on, or we're a little bit more challenging, slash skeptical, like what have they done about trying to solve the solution? I mean, solve the problem prior to speaking to you, and then consequence, we're a little bit more challenging, right? Slash skeptical and concerned. So if you see, all of the tones have an appropriate place. Now, if I'm asking a question and it doesn't fall within one of those 4 C's, I need to ask myself why. Does that make sense, guys and gals? Because like if I'm coming off excited, where in the presentation, where in the engagement phase does that rank? Not saying we can't have excitement, but how does how does the prospect like possibly interpret that excitement as another salesperson? Because if you think about it, why are you excited in the prospect shoes? If I'm speaking to a salesperson that's excited, why are you excited that you're speaking to me? Because in my mind, you may think I am a sale. Like you may think that I'm an opportunity for you, but that may make me a little bit more guarded because, like imagine going to a doctor's office and the doctor's super excited to see you, right? When you tell them I have pain. Yeah, my back hurts. Oh, that's good stuff, Scott. Yeah. Do you have insurance? And it's like that's what we're trying to not get across to the actual like prospects. Did that make sense, guys and gals?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Sweet. All right. Appreciate you, Kobe. Appreciate you, Scott. Renee, come on down. Let me. Oops. I got you. Bam. Let me. Bam. Hey, Renee.
Hey. All right. So I'm a business coach for holistic practitioners, spiritual coaches, and transformational entrepreneurs. March will be my 3rd month. So I'm
Nice.
finally implementing the bulk of the script. And one of the ones I'm kind of having a little bit of a challenge on is consequence. So role play just that one consequence question and get your feedback on tonality.
Oh, you know what? Yeah. So I'll be your partner. You will play the question with me. I'll tell you how I feel.
Okay, awesome. So what happens if you don't do anything about getting your message out there at the level that you want and scaling your soul aligned business and continue to stay stuck in the 3 to 5K months, like never fulfilling your purpose and making that impact that you know that you're here to make, and business just stays the same or possibly even gets worse for another 2 days.
I'll pause you. I'll pause you there because your tone is appropriate.
Am I too excited?
No. The question may be a little too long because I may zone out because there might be too many and because remember the consequence question, like that's supposed to just hit people like a thud because it's so easy to answer and you guys have done all the work earlier to make it really land. So what I'd recommend is like I'm going to use a very generic consequence question, right? All right. And very good job at pausing before the don't. I noticed that. So like that really landed. It's just there's too many
too many things.
too many things. So the person may not know where to focus on, so they may get confused. right? So I'll do a very generic version, right?
Yeah, so you
Um,
would just take what they said, just that one thing, even though they've said
yeah,
a couple things, just pick that one high level thing.
yeah,
and
yeah,
then-
because I'll do the real time. What happens if you don't change what you're doing?
Yeah.
You keep problems they said they had,
Yeah.
and things get even worse. What happens then?
Okay, short and sweet, powerful.
Yeah, all right. Like because what I was doing was like, and I'll tell you, like I I did exactly what you did. I'm pausing in front of the don't, so to emphasize, right? Because whatever I pause in front of, they focus on. So what happens if you don't? Now notice I'm pausing and I'm just right. What happens if you don't change what you're doing? I'm pausing again.
Mm-hmm.
And you keep insert whatever problems they said they had, and things get even worse.
Yeah, yeah.
What
Okay.
happens then? Like, and notice as I get closer to the end of the question, I'm lowering my tone.
Right. Right. Leaning in a little bit more.
Exactly, because I want them to really internalize it, where it's like, okay,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can feel the gravity of that just already.
yeah,
Mhm.
because what we want to is also let that 1 to 2 second silence of that really coming in their mind really just use that as an asset where it's just like,
Yeah. Yeah. I guess I'm confused on how much just to put in there because there's a couple of different things that they said, like they're stuck at 3 to 5K months. They want to get to 10, 20K months.
now
And this
pause,
purpose,
yeah, pause that. The 3 to 5K, if you think about it, that's not the thing, right? The 3 to 5, them being stuck at 3 to 5K months, right? That's just like a barrier. But what's the real pain? Like by them being stuck at 3 to 5K, what what impact has that been on them? Like what does that prevent them from doing? And then whatever the biggest thing you got from problem awareness that they can't do or social awareness, that's what you put in there,
okay.
right? Like
Okay.
what the 3 or 5K allows them to do, and then like what would that mean for the person? Is like then you have the real thing where it's like boom, the consequence of not getting the thing.
Okay. Yeah, I see what you mean. Okay. Yep. That's fulfilling their purpose, making a difference. Like that's for these people, this crowd, that's exactly what they need. And having that time freedom. So if I could just say those things and then
Yeah,
possibly gets even worse, and then what would be the effects
yeah,
of
spot on. Lowering the tone and just putting that thing in there, make it clear for them.
all right. So I'm finally going to be using this. I've had some challenges like asking this question, right? For whatever
Yeah,
brings up
yeah,
stuff for me to kind of challenge people and really put them on the spot there. But it's very powerful and it's working fabulously. So yeah.
appreciate you guys. Uh, Tyler and Alec, apologies, guys. We're out of time, but I'll make sure I take Tyler and Alec. I'll take you guys first next week. So just make sure you're here. All right. Like, so I'll don't hang up just yet. I'm gonna add you in the list so I know. Tyler, Tyler Monroe. Where's there we go. Tyler. Alec, could you just how do you say your last name? I'm super curious. 'Cause it's a long one like mine, so I'm just curious. Like
It's Muehlmeyer.
okay. All right, appreciate it. All right, and for the folks that is anybody coming down for the NPQ meetup event this week? All right. Like if you're not, like if you are, I'll be there. I look forward to seeing you in person. But if not, I'll see you guys same time, same place next Monday.